All right, so today's question of the day comes from the Urban Legend. The Urban Legend asks, do civilians show respect to military personnel? So, normal people showing respect to uniformed members. So I'm outside in my friend's apartment. It might be a little bit windy, so you might hear that. So if you do, I apologize for that, for the audio being a little bit off. But my answer to that question, okay, it's yes and no, okay? They do show respect, in my opinion and experience, when you are in an area where there isn't a lot of military personnel, right? So to give you an example, I'm from Pennsylvania, right? There is some military personnel over there because there's a naval facility, but there isn't a lot, right? There's not a lot of military personnel. So whenever I go up to Pennsylvania, it's my home state, and I go shopping and I say, hey, do you do military discount? And they'll say, yeah, 20% off. Thank you for your service and all that kind of stuff. But I am, currently living in Virginia, right? And for example, I went to Subway and I asked them, hey, do you do military discount? And they said, unfortunately, no, because you guys are military personnel are our main source of revenue, right? Because there's so many military personnel in Virginia. Not to say that it's disrespectful, but you can kind of see the difference where if you are living in an area where there's a lot of military personnel, people, businesses kind of treat you the same. But when you are living in an area where there isn't a lot of military personnel, most people, from my experience, kind of respect you more because you're not, there isn't, every other person isn't military, right? So that's kind of what I noticed, kind of the difference between, living in an area where it's flooded with military personnel and also, being in an area where there isn't a lot of military personnel. Now, there are, living in a place like this in Virginia, there are people who, treat military personnel. For example, when I was taking the train from Virginia to Pennsylvania, one of the person, she was married to a military personnel. She said, hey, I think you're in the military. Are you in the military? And I said, yes. And she's like, hey, can I buy you some drinks? Not alcohol, just water or whatever. And I said, oh, thank you for the thought, but, it's okay. So there are definitely people, who show kindness, who show respect to military personnel. But, there is a good portion of individuals that are not that military professional that kind of cause trouble, whether it be, driving reckless, DUI, getting into car accidents and stuff like that, that kind of display a poor image of military personnel. And whenever a military personnel gets into a car accident or some kind of trouble and it's reported on the news, it's kind of displayed and it's shown for everybody else that's watching the news, like, hey, a military personnel did this, and it kind of, that one individual kind of ruins it for everybody else, because now everybody else is affected by that one individual who made a bad decision, right? So yes and no. Okay, yes, if you go to an area where there isn't a lot of military personnel, they will, from my experience, show a lot of respect, come up to you and say thank you for your service. But when you are in an area where it's flooded with military personnel, people just don't really care all too much. You're just kind of another person. So that's my experience, my opinion. If you are a military personnel and you experience some stuff, share it in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great Navy day.